I'm Ben Yenny, and I don't make movies. I help filmmakers make money from their movies. So without further ado, let's get started. There are generally as many as 5 different sorts of documents that you're going to need. One is a lookbook, one is a deck, one is a business plan, one is an audience analysis, and then there are pro forma financial statements, which essentially back up the deck and the business plan. A lookbook is something that is visually appealing and is generally meant to convey the artistry and creativity behind your film. It may touch on business briefly, but it is far from its primary purpose. A deck is a snapshot of the business of your film. Unlike a lookbook, its primary purpose is to convey the business, as well as give potential investors a snapshot of what your marketing plan is going to be, as well as who your audience is, and how this thing is going to make money. Lookbook is how the film is going to look when it's done. Deck is how is it going to make money and get these stakeholders their money back. A business plan is a detailed text document that outlines how you will take this idea or script and turn it into a finished product that is out and available for people to buy and watch. Generally, you'll only need the business plan for angel investors in order to make a private placement memorandum, which we'll go over in a little bit. Lookbooks are for pretty much anybody. They're very enjoyable to read, and there's not as strict a formula for them. It's one of the first documents you would ever send to get people to buy into the creative elements of this potential project. A deck is something that you should be able to just let your eyes pass over and get a good idea of the business. Generally, it's pretty early in your talks with an investor. It could be at or directly after your first meeting. Sometimes it will even be spent shortly before your first meeting, so that that first meeting can be more productive. While pretty much everybody wants to see a lookbook, fewer people want to see a deck. Studios don't care as much because most of the time they know the business better than you do. This is particularly true for business plans, as the studios definitely know this plan a lot better than you as a filmmaker. They make their entire business monetizing films, whereas you as a filmmaker focus primarily on creating them. The big people who need a business plan are angel investors who haven't worked extensively in film before. An executive producer might want to see your business plan, but they're probably going to make a lot of changes to it. Or if you're working with an executive producer like me from an early stage, I normally help guide the creation of the document to make sure it overcomes the objections that your or my investors are likely. Generally, you'll only see it or send it out after they've already sent out the deck. So the next major question is, why do people need a lookbook, deck, or business plan? And the other 2 documents or 3 documents generally just reinforce the data that you need to make any of these 3 primary documents. The lookbook is more to give them a good idea of the creative elements, as we've mentioned, and the goal of giving it to them is to get them interested enough in your project to request the deck. The reason you give them the deck is to make sure they understand the basics of your business, and the goal in giving it to them is to show them how you will be able to get them their money back and get them to take the next step with you. Finally, the goal of the business plan is to show them that you're going to have a clear path to make their investment pay dividends in order to make their investment see profit. Your goal in giving them this document is to show them how you're going to make them their money back and more, as well as convince them that they want to give you their money instead of the huge amount of other things they can do with that money. The business plan often also forms the backbone of the private placement memorandum, or PPM, which again, we'll get into later. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you liked it, please click the like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. I'm also going to start sharing all of my decks for these videos on Patreon. If you want a little bit more information about the documents you're going to need to close indie film investors, you can check out the video, which is directly below my pretty face, right down here, which is the full video from which this segment is taken. I'm going to be doing that a lot more so that I can actually put out more easily shareable videos. So again, if you liked it, share it, or check out the videos below and drop any questions you may have in the comments. Hope to see you soon.